All right, my good old folks, we back at it. We back at it. We back at it. Thank y'all for tuning in to your favorite channel, Pelican Bay Dog Talk and News for the day. Giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased. Some gonna like it, some ain't, man. I always have that problem. Some folk like what I talk about, some folk don't. It's not my problem. It's just my thing to give you the news, give you the dog talk, however it come. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and drop down in the comments. Salute to all the brothers and sisters that's in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't subscribed to the page yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? It's totally free. And we got a lot of dog talk and a lot of dog news for the day. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. Now, we got a lot of dog talk, a lot of dog news for the day. More rescues that went down. We're going to talk about Honey Bunch and Miss Jocko as well. But first, I want to give some recognition to a old school kennel, Super Nance. A name we don't really talk about a lot, but a name that is held in high regard when you see it in your pedigree. It don't matter which dog it is that you see in your pedigree. When it says Super Nance behind it, people hold it to high regards. So I feel like, we need to talk a little more about brothers like that from back in the days. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you see a lot of dog brothers in these pedigrees, but they name don't really necessarily mean anything. When I say that, I mean, they were just breeders. Now, when you see Super Nance name in your pedigree, you see basically you use that dog to, like I said, you hold it on high regards. You know what I'm saying? You hold them on a high level. A lot of, including myself, I haven't seen a lot of the Super Nance dogs, directly from Super Nance, but from what I hear and what, when they bring his name up or his dogs up, like Super Nance Boots, Super Nance Ace, I want to say Super Nance Lily Mae, then you got Super Nance Rambo as well, and when you hear all these dogs in pedigrees, you hold them to high regards. So it's a shame to see a dog man who every time you see his dogs in the pedigree, you hold them up to them standards, but yet his name is rarely mentioned, rarely mentioned. So today I'm giving Super Nance his honors, at the beginning of the show. Salute to Super Nance Kennels. Now, I want to say to anybody, whether it's old, young, my young brothers particularly, love your stock. You know what I'm saying? Love your stock. Because at the end of the day, them old stories are exactly what they are. Old stories. A lot of these old dog men be hating on the younger brothers. You know what I'm saying? It always was like that, and it's going to always be like that. You can be a younger brother just coming up in the game and already got your stuff together. Already got your things together. And a lot of these older dog men who had a chance to get it together, who wasted a lot of time chasing after curves, chasing after bullshit, hate on you. They'll hate on you. So love your stock. So let me give you a little story, a little example real quick. We all know way back in the days that hip hop started in New York, and this is where my story is gonna go at. I remember trying to be an up-and-coming rapper in my early teens, in my early 20s, trying to do the rap thing, and you always reach out to the brothers in New York because New York was running the whole situation at that time. We're talking early 90s. New York was running the whole situation, so you always try to reach out to the rappers you knew in New York, and it always seemed like New York folk gave you their ass to kiss. You know what I'm saying? They gave you the ass to kiss until one day, one brother came out, dropped an album, and it was never the same again. Master P. The day Master P, not necessarily the day because he put in a lot of work as well. When Master P dropped out, you know what I'm saying? What P did is what I'm telling you now. You know what I'm saying? When P dropped, it showed everybody from the South to love yourself. When P dropped, it showed brothers, it let the world see how brothers was living down South. We can compare to what this dude here talking about. They on the videos with no shirts on, gold teeth in the mouth, fat stomachs, all different type folk, you know what I'm saying? Just, South living. And when P dropped, it was no more turning back. Every state took control of their own destiny. You know what I'm saying? You love yourselves. That's in the rap game, that's what it is now. It's not about the South running it or New York running it or the West Coast running it. Nah, it's the South is big, for one. Now, since Master P came, the South learned to love themselves. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that music, the South learned to don't dwell on the past. You know what I'm saying? Know the past, learn the history. You know what I'm saying? Respect the history. But today is today. It's about today's time. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these dogs, it's about today's time. What's going on today with your yard. Who cares about, the stories? They're good, but the stories don't make you anything. The stories don't make you anything, period. What you doing today with your dogs is what's going to make your future. What's going to make your, your dynasty. You know what I'm saying? What's going to make your name as a dog man great in later on down the line. What you doing. You know what I'm saying? What them boys did back then and what everybody did back then, it's all good, man. But a lot of them brothers be hating. Like I said before, a lot of brothers, ain't going to keep it all the way 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers just try to railroad you. A lot of brothers just trying to take that money out your pocket. You know what I'm saying? And then turn around and get up on these shows and act like it was a blackballing situation. Like I said before, But I want to send a big shout out to the brothers down in the chat, the sisters down in the chat. Shout out to my brother Supreme Excellence, Hunt Down Kennel. You know what I'm saying? City Boy Kennel, Liquid Lucky. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the brothers. Eli Monster, M.O.R. Keith. You know what I'm saying? Lionhead. Shout out to all the brothers, man. Shout out to all the brothers. Jay's Moonlight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the brothers. Missing plenty names. Mr. Biggs. Mr. 216. Shout out to all the brothers, man. All the Bulldoggers. But today is time for a change. Today is time for us to stop worrying about Mayday. Yeah, we could talk about the Mayday stories. It's endless. We could talk about them forever. But the thing is, Mayday ain't going to make shit on your yard right now today. Mayday not going to do anything good for JD Hogg right now today. Today, my legacy with JD Hogg is all going to depend on what I do with that dog. You know what I'm saying? Victor, no, none of that going to matter. What they did with him and all that era, that was back then. That music era back then, that old era was back then. Once P dropped, it was a new era. New things dropped. New stuff went down. You know what I'm saying? And it never went back the same since then. Because folk understood how to love their own stock. You know what I'm saying? After P dropped, folks understood how to love their own stock. And like I said before, it'll never be about, down south music better than up north music or out west music. Nah, it's about loving your own stock. With these dogs, it's about loving your own stock. Making your stock the one people talking about 20 and 30 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about when it comes to these dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you got to be careful because some folk will lead you down the wrong direction just because, like they say in the game. A lot of folk act like they want to see you doing good, but they only want to see you doing good, but not good as them, not better than them. You know what I'm saying? Not on the level of they doing it, just good enough. That's how a lot of folk is in the game, and that's how a lot of folk is in the dog game. They act like they want to see you doing good, but they don't want to see you with a top echelon dog. Only gonna give you enough guidance to get you so far, and you got to figure out everything else on your own. Got to figure out everything else on your own, man. And I want to send a big salute out to brother Melvin Brown. You know what I'm saying? Big salute out to Melvin Brown. Appreciate you dropping in the chat, fam, the other night. You know what I'm saying? One of the Bulldogs that been down from day one when it come to these dog shows. You just got to keep it all the way 100. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep it all the way 100. And you got to keep it 100 with brothers who ain't looking for nothing from you, but genuine friendship. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these, see, what we'll fuck up and do sometime, we'll overlook the brothers who genuinely want to be your friends because of so much people that seem like they want to be your friends because what you got or what you have to offer. You know what I'm saying? And then the moment you lose what you got and what you have to offer, see, I done figured this out. I've been learned this, years ago. Once you lose what you got to give and offer, you ain't the same to them people no more. You know what I'm saying? You was not the same to them people no more once you do not have what they want. They treat you different. Long as you can feed them, long as you feed it, long as you got something to offer, long as you got something to give, you that man. The moment you make changes, the moment you do other things, the moment everybody not at the table with you, things change. Things change. Like the old stories are super cool. Yeah, and we love to tell them and we love to give them. And the more I think of some old bull stories, the more I'm going to tell. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, don't forget reality. Times have changed. You don't need the same stuff in your dog food no more. You don't need the same shots no more. You don't need the same things to make your dog get on certain levels no more. You have other things to replace that. You have things to replace all these injections you had to give your dog back in the days. Your food is made better than it was back then. Back then, your food wasn't. The food back then was nothing compared to the food now. You know what I'm saying? Any bulldogger that say it was, there's a damn lie. You didn't have all these dog foods that you got now with so many different proteins in it, this and that, where you can basically do it how you want it. You can add what you want to add into your dog without all them different things, without all them different supplements, because the food made certain ways. You know what I'm saying? The food made certain ways. As years go on, studies and they start doing studies on different foods and how this dog reacting to this and how this dog reacting to that. They make changes in things, So we can't always dwell on the past. Besides just remembering your history, knowing your history and where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you got to do what you got to do for the day's time. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do for the day's time and learn how to survive in the day's time. Them dog brothers back then can brag about what we been through back then and what they been through back then. If the dog brothers today going through a whole different ball game than what the brothers did back then. They don't know what you're going through right now. Them brothers Carver and all them brothers back then can't say they experienced what you're going through right now. You going through your own story, your own history. You know what I'm saying? You got to make it through. This basically is like genocide when it comes to the dogs. Or basically like, just destroying a whole population of animals. And you got to try to survive to say, oh, I kept my line strong and relevant through all of that. When Maurice Carver had his, he ain't had no problem to keep his dog. He can easily save that widow stuff and this stuff and that this and that. He can save it throughout the years. He had nothing to worry about. Now, my brothers, you're in a different war. You're in a whole different ball game. So pat yourself on the back, for going through some of the stuff these brothers go through today's time. You know what I'm saying? 2023. Because we can say, oh, it was what it was back then. But man, we ain't living in back then. We living in now. If you want to stay stuck on back then, you should have died back then or stayed back then. We living in today's time. You got to update with the times. It just is what it is. If you don't update with the times, them boys got some place where they put you where time stops. You know what I'm saying? For you, but not nobody else. Stops for you, but nobody else at the end of the day. But there's one canine supplement that has been doing wonders over the last 20, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, and that's that Vertex K9 Essentials. If you're looking for your complete canine supplement, Vertex K9 Essentials is the supplement for you. Like I said before, you got newborn puppies, weaning puppies, great for the situation. You got a pregnant female dog, great for the situation. Say you got a dog that don't want to eat as much, got a picky appetite, great for the situation. You got a dog that You trying to get worked out. You trying to put that solid muscle on them. Great for the situation. Pre-workout. You're going to do a good hard workout on your dog. You need a pre-workout shake. Great for the situation. Post-workout. You need to get your dog back right. Then Vertex K9 solution is the key to your problems. Vertex K9 Essentials is my go-to when I need canine packing power. Now, I want to say, y'all brothers and sisters, hit that like button, man. Don't forget to hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking dead into the camera right now at one of y'all brothers or sisters that's watching this video and haven't hit that subscribe button yet. Now, I say this all the time, man. I can see if it was $1.99, $2.99 to subscribe, $5.99, $10.99. Man, that shit 0.000. Hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell. That way you be in the loop when the video is dropping. Now we gon', man, listen here, man. This video I'm about to let y'all see. I'm about to let y'all listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to discuss it when it's over. And I'm trying to figure out some things, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out some things because by golly, I can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's like this right here, right? I'm just having a hard time understanding why a brother or sister, you know, any color, anything, can have 1 or 2 pit bulls over here, you know, and you get dog fighting, blah, 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 all kind of stuff with it. But yet, this video I'm about to show y'all, brothers and sisters, we talking 400 rescued dogs since February. You know, the particular breeder that was breeding that they talking about, he had 400 dogs she had 400 dogs rescued from her possession since February. 400 dogs. And you telling me that shouldn't have been prompted investigation? That should have been stopped at 50 dogs. She should have never made it to 400 dogs. You know? Where are the animal love the animal love that goes to them pit bulls when you say this brother is fighting? You making all these assumptions about these brothers and sisters about dog fighting, you know, and you make brothers and sisters look certain ways on the news, but yet people like this get away scot-free. People like I'm about to show you on this video get away scot-free. But we're going to talk about it after the video. Let's check it out.
Meanwhile, there's another animal cruelty investigation unfolding tonight in the East Valley, this time at a home in Gilbert. Team 12's Bianca Bono speaking to the owner of a dog rescue who says she's taken hundreds of dogs from the breeder in an effort to help the animals.
Guys, since February, the Orphanage Dog Rescue says they've taken around 400 dogs from this breeder, and many of them were in bad shape.
He smelled as though he lived in his feces.
Andrea Andrews with the Orphanage Dog Rescue describing the first dog she ever got from the breeder who lived at this Gilbert home.
Some of them I saw posted for free, some of them I saw posted for $100.
And when was this?
Back in February.
Concerned there were more dogs that needed care, she continued to communicate with the breeder, so she and other rescues took as many dogs as they could.
We would then bring them back here and begin washing them, grooming them, vaccinating them, find wonderful foster homes and get them homes.
Andrea says many were covered in feces or had burns from sitting in urine for long periods of time. But in early September, Andrea said she received a dog with the worst condition she had seen yet.
I did get a dog that had a large hole in her neck. I got her on September 10th, and she went to the vet on September 11th.
On September 13th, Gilbert police responding to the home off Ray Road and found the tenants were moving out. Police were told the animals had all been rehomed. But 10 days later, police went back, finding dozens of dogs on the property, some needing medical attention. Andrea's volunteers getting access to the property, capturing photos of the home's condition.
What was the house like?
beyond horrific.
Police seizing 18 of the dogs, placing them into the care of the Arizona Humane Society, leaving the rest at the property. Police say they have an active animal cruelty investigation.
Please leave your message.
12 News trying to speak with the breeder by phone. We're not identifying her because she is not facing charges.
I don't believe she should own dogs.
As for Andrea, she says the recent East Valley animal cruelty investigations make it clear lawmakers need to make a change.
There should be laws for the amount of dogs that you can have on your property.
And Gilbert police say they're working with the Humane Society to determine whether they'll recommend charges against the breeder. In the meantime, many of the dogs rescues have taken from the property are still up for adoption. You can find more information about them on our website, 12news.com. We're in Gilbert. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Now, you telling me she wasn't even charged? If it's not something wrong with the justice system here in America, if it's not something wrong with the justice system here in America, it's like you telling me if I got $5, I can walk outside and become a millionaire just by holding my money in the air. And we know it don't happen like that. You know what I'm saying? How in the heck? I had to shape it up a little bit, brothers, because, I'm trying to do away with a lot of the profanity, you know what I'm saying? But how in the world can brothers get charged for dog fighting, dog abuse, animal cruelty, for having a few scratches on your dog, not busted in no dog fights? Maybe you had a few magazines. What does it hurt to read? That's what we make books for. We not the ones who made them books. We just the ones that read them. We just the ones that read them, just like we read any other book across America. There's so many books in America that don't have stuff in it that's appropriate for everyday living. You know what I'm saying? It's so many books in America that you read stuff that you cannot get out here and do. But that's the great thing about books. It's a creative thing. It's a mind thing. You put in them books what you want to have in them. But yet, journals are basically records of illegal activities. You know what I'm saying? Records of illegal activities. But yet, that's like saying, okay, if Gotti them had records of their illegal activities when they was in the mob, and then they made books about it, and then yet you got these books spread out all around the country about John Gotti and how he did this and how he did that. Because you got them books, it don't make you a mob member. Because you got a few guns in your house, you got the mob books, it doesn't make you a mobster. Because that was the past. That's literature that you reading. You just want to know what went on here in America. Because see, a lot of the stuff that we learned that went on in America, some people say it ain't right. So we want to read to figure out what went on in our little time. You know what I'm saying? And it just, like, when you look at these situations, when you look at the ways these dogs were held, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how can it be any kind of question about a charge being brought up? How can it be any kind of question? That's why we be so angry when it comes to these pit bulls and it comes to laws and it comes to everything else. Because these same people that's getting, that same woman who had them 400 messed up dogs, you know what I'm saying? She gonna be the same woman that get up in them city council meetings and say pit bulls need to be banned. The same women in these rescues that's getting in trouble are the same ones that's getting up here talking about pit bulls are bad dogs. Pit bulls are this and pit bulls are that, and the country don't see that, and they keep these rescue busts on a lower criteria than they keep the dog fighting stuff. When you see something about dog fighting, it's spread all across the news. But yet, that thing that happened with K9 Lifeline Rescue wasn't spread all across the news in the same way that the different dog fights was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It's like we have, as a country, our motive is, I don't know what our motive is as a country. All I know is pit bulls get treated as differently than other dog people. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna keep this thing rolling, man. We gonna talk about Jocko, Miss Jocko, Tance, Miss Jocko, and Honey Bunch as well. Now we gonna talk about Honey Bunch and Miss Jocko. Okay, all right. Both dogs, great dogs. Both dogs created bloodlines. You know what I'm saying? Both dogs created bloodlines. But this conversation is kind of to see which dog do y'all fellas and ladies down in the chat feel like made a more stronger mark in history. Was it Tance Miss Jocko or was it Honey Bunch? Okay, and I'm gonna explain both sides of the story. You know, and I'm gonna give you a little statistics from both dogs. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Miss Jocko, we got approximately 26 breedings. Okay, we got 2 grand champions and 2 champions that's listed on the online page. You know, it could be more, give or take, but we got 2 grand champions, 2 champions when it comes to Miss Jocko. You know, we got, when it comes to Miss Jocko, we got her producing one of the most famous bloodlines in the world, the Red Boy Jocko. Okay. Now, when it comes to Honey Bunch, we got approximately 48 breedings. You know, approximately 48 breedings. We got 14 champions. Approximately 14 to 15 champions when it comes to Honey Bunch. 2 grand champions, give or take. You know, okay, now when it comes to Honey Bunch, she's produced multiple lines of dogs. When I say multiple lines, she's been credited for producing dogs that have created their own lines. You know, you got this dog got a line, this dog got a line. Like Oprah say, this person got a car, that person got a car. Honey Bunch was throwing them out like Oprah. You take a line, you take a line, you take a line. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, you know, we're going to analyze this thing a little bit, and we're going to talk about maybe a little bit of facts or maybe a little bit of assuming, you know what I'm saying, in the process. Okay, Honey Bunch produced 14 or more champions. Great dog. Can't take nothing from her. You know, one of the best dogs in history. But what happened to the Honey Bunch dogs? Okay, the thing about it is, like, when it comes to Miss Jocko, their line was more line bred and inbred. To this day, the dogs with Miss Jocko in it are more line bred than the dogs with Honey Bunch in it. Okay? Doesn't mean one dog is better than the other one. You know? It just questions you ask yourself. Out of the grand champions that Honey Bunch produced and all the champions she produced, you know, how are those dogs, the offspring off those dogs in modern day time? How is the offspring compared to the offspring coming down off Tance Miss Jocko modern day time? You know, we're not talking about direct offspring. We're talking about descendants. You know, descendants from Tance Miss Jocko right now and descendants from Honey Bunch right now. You know, and like I said about Honey Bunch earlier, she is credited for more than one line of dogs. When Jocko just only credited for the Red Boy Jocko cross, Miss Jocko was only credited for that cross. Honey Bunch is credited for, you know, many dogs. But the thing is, this the thing. You know, when I say Jocko was credited for the most famous cross in the world, the Red Boy Jocko cross, you know, Honey Bunch haven't made a cross. You know, although her name reigns strong, she made a lot of great dogs. Her and Finley Bow is not a cross. Finley Bow, Honey Bunch is not a bloodline. You know, there's 2 dogs that bred together. So although Honey Bunch produced great, Honey Bunch clearly we don't know, we're going to keep talking, been the better producer. It wasn't a bloodline. It didn't create a bloodline when she made Jeep. When she made Jeep, she didn't create a bloodline off of Finley, Bo, and her. You see, that's the difference. When Jocko made Yellow, Miss Jocko made Yellow, with Yellow Giant, they created a bloodline, Red Boy Jocko, as well as Grand Champion Yellow. You see, that's why I'm talking about with Honey Bunch. She's a great dog when it comes to statistic-wise, But did it hold tail of the tape when it comes to 2023 right now? Okay, now let's put other things in the factor. Dog seizures. We can't really knock no bloodline of dogs. We can't say no dog is really over this dog in producing if you don't factor in the point of dog seizures. How many dogs getting took since these dogs were in existence? Since Honey Bunch existed, how many dogs you think that came off of her offspring were confiscated? Many dogs. Many, 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 many dogs. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff plays in the factor when it comes to talking about these dogs in modern day time and which dogs is the best in modern day times. When it comes to saying which dog has been more preserved, I say Tance Miss Jocko was more preserved in modern day time than Honey Bunch was because of the line breeding. You see more line breeding when it comes from that Red Boy Jocko stuff than you see from the Honey Bunch dog. Now, like they say, man, great dogs produce bloodlines. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Honey Bunch did. I could say her and Finley Bo didn't make a bloodline. They didn't create like Finley Bo Honey Bunch, like Red Boy Jocko. They didn't create that line. But she created her offspring were bloodlines themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it go neck to neck. You know what I'm saying? I just think a lot of the dog seizures, a lot of the dog thieving, a lot of the stuff, the mishaps with these dogs can alter the way we feel about a dog modern day times. We might be like, oh man, that Kobe stuff ain't nothing. That Kobe stuff ain't nothing. And then yet we fail to realize how many Kobe dogs were taken, how many Kobe dogs were stolen, how many Kobe dogs, just something bad happened to them to the point where they couldn't be bred, to the point where they basically got taken out of the dog game. It's a lot of bloodlines that's like that may get looked down on today by different folk because of that simple fact. So many dogs getting taken. Even if it don't affect the dog population, with them taking that many dogs on a yearly basis, it's affecting the bloodlines. You know what I'm saying? Which bloodlines are stronger? Which bloodlines are still here? Which bloodlines is after a while, the bloodlines that's going to be strongest is going to be the bloodlines that was less popular throughout the days, because the less popular dogs are the dogs that really don't get seized. The more popular dogs are the ones who get seized on the yards, and it's going to leave nothing but the dogs that wasn't popular at first. It just is what it is, man. We just doing a little comparing. Honey Bunch, Tance Miss Jocko. A lot of folk will argue and say you can't put them on the same level. But I beg to differ just because of the fact that when bred to Yellow John, they created the Red Boy Jocko cross when they produced Grand Champion Yellow. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention she produced JR. Great dogs. Great dogs. And folks always wonder about JR and the yellow dog. And that all goes back to the same stuff. Which person had a chance to breed a dog? Was this dog around as long as Yellow? Was this dog at a popular dog man yard as Tent was at the time? Popularity is the key to a lot of these dogs being so relevant in our pedigrees. A lot of these dogs being so, standards so high when it comes to, we want to see them in our pedigrees. A lot of these dog men were just popular. The dog wasn't that good. The dog man was just popular. You know what I'm saying? Just popular. And then if you really want to go there, Mr. James Crenshaw was one of the more popular breeders from back in them days. If I would have went and got a dog from Mr. Crenshaw and I would have had one off Jeep litter, he would have still made more breedings than I had on record because of his popularity. The same reason why Jeep is more popular than Charlie. You know what I'm saying? The same reason. It's no coincidence Honey Bunch was going to be a star. Pretty much all the dogs what Mr. Crenshaw said was a star, we still hold on star standards right now today. We still hold on star standards. And you just look at it the same way you look at the stuff that goes on today. The more popular breeders back in the days are the people who had the famous dogs. And then we see people who had dogs off them same litters, but they wasn't as popular. And their dog didn't breed as much, and we'll take for granted and think, oh, because he didn't get bred as much, he wasn't as good. Or Charlie wasn't as good as Jeep. Both of them was full-time winners, like I told y'all on the last video. Both of them full-time winners, but one dog white cowpatch and the other dog buckskin. One dog with a less popular man, other dog with the man. You know what I'm saying? This dog could be way better. Charlie can be way better than Jeep, but you'll never find out because everybody run into popularity. Same thing they do nowadays time. Run to the popular dog man. That's why I tell y'all brothers video after video. You can know a brother that got the same stuff that one of these big kennels got. They're giving it to you for a whole cheaper price, and their dogs might be better than the big kennel dogs, but you won't holler at them because you say, oh, I'm going to go to the Connect. So that's the same reason Charlie and Jeep got different stats, different ratios when it comes to breeding. When these dogs, it just depends on which breeder was popular back in the days. The more popular the breeder, the more times you seen that dog in a lot of the other famous dog men's pedigrees. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Got to call it how it is. But we about to go to another dog operation where a rescue that was rescuing crippled dogs, rescuing special needs dogs, is busted. We're going to get into that and we're going to talk about it on the backside. You know what I'm saying? So y'all check this video out.
Learning more about the investigation into a special needs dog rescue that was shut down Friday night, and the woman who ran the shelter who is now facing dozens of animal abuse charges.
Team 12's Adriana Loya has been following that story all day. She joins us now live outside of the Estrella jail with more details. Adriana.
Hey guys, well, as April McLaughlin remains here behind bars tonight, I have learned that the Arizona Humane Society tells me that actually on the first day they visited her home, she actually surrendered 2 dogs to them. That's right after police began investigating these complaints.
So we brought crates with us just in case.
Nancy Jimeno and Jill March in Phoenix from California, driving down with kennels, hoping to get back the disabled dogs they gave to April McLaughlin, also known as April Addison, and to them, Taylor McKinley. Police finding a deplorable scene at her Chandler home, where 55 dogs were found in kennels, laying in towels caked with animal feces and urine. 5 dogs were found in the freezer, where April stored her elderly mother's food, who also lived at the home. During the search, firefighters were forced to wear special gear because of poor quality with extreme smell of ammonia.
I spoke to her almost every day. She goes, Jill, I'm so connected with these dogs.
Jill says April texted her as police raided her home.
She was still texting me how much trouble she was in while she was in handcuffs. I think that was it. The last text I got from her was at 9 o'clock at night. She was actually on Instagram while they were searching her house.
She was looking at everything that was happening, from what you understand.
I don't know if it was September 3rd or end of August. She asked me to pull a paralyzed Frenchie from West Valley named Honey.
So up until recently, she was still trying to get more dogs.
Yes.
Nancy says she, just like other rescues, have told 12 News they gave April dogs because they thought she would do right by them.
Find out that in reality, she was doing all of this, Nance.
It's heartbreaking. I've never met someone who is so evil.
The Arizona Humane Society tells 12 News after their initial visit on September 12th, April was cooperative and took some dogs to get vet care. So the Humane Society said they couldn't take the dogs away. Another hurdle that prolonged the process was Chandler's city ordinance that doesn't allow animals to be seized for lack of medical treatment.
What hurts the most for you out of all of this?
I think the fact that I was deceived.
Now, in regards to that ordinance in Chandler, a spokesperson tells me tonight that it is too early to tell if they will change the law, but that issue may be included in October's City Council meeting. We're reporting live in Phoenix, Adriana Loya, 12 News.
Now, after y'all heard all that, you mean to tell me, hold up.
Behind me is the home where investigators say McLaughlin kept dozens and dozens of dogs in poor living conditions. And the house has been deemed condemned because of everything they found in there, like you said, urine and feces. And we were here outside hours ago, and the smell wasn't as bad as neighbors have described, but now the wind has shifted and I am catching that pungent odor that Steven Sarabia has been reporting about, and it's very hard to describe it. But I also want to show you what has been posted along this fence here. We are seeing pictures of all the survivors that were rescued from this home. Rescue groups now want to know why it took so long to get them out. April McLaughlin making her first court appearance Saturday morning, where a judge charged her with 110 misdemeanors for animal abuse and cruelty. A prosecutor in the hearing saying,
"These dogs suffered horrific neglect and living conditions."
Chandler police say 55 special needs dogs were taken out of McLaughlin's home Friday night, where it's reported she ran a nonprofit animal rescue. Court paperwork says a specialist found the levels in the air from feces and urine too much for crews to breathe in. Protective gear was needed before entering the home. Court docs state the bodies of 5 puppies were found in the freezer next to human food.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
The Arizona Humane Society helped seize the animals, but we're told they had done welfare checks at the home before. Court paperwork shows during one of the visits, they noticed one of the dog's ribs were showing. Another dog had open wounds on its hind legs from dragging itself on the ground, and some had no water. Some rescue groups want to know why it took so long to save the dogs.
I'm disappointed with just the lack of importance.
The Humane Society says the city of Chandler does not have an animal cruelty ordinance.
That's what made this case particularly challenging for us, because we could not seize under a hoarding ordinance or request seizure for a hoarding ordinance or for lack of medical care.
Another concern for animal advocates, the charges. They say misdemeanors won't keep other dogs safe from McLaughlin.
We have about 30 rescues that are ready to take her on and take her to civil court, either for monetary damages, punitive damages, whatever it's going to take, because I can guarantee you that if criminal charges are not followed through or pursued, she will do it again.
McLaughlin is also accused of vulnerable adult abuse. After reading over the court documents, we learned that her elderly mother was also found inside this home, and she told police that she has not received medical attention for several months. Reporting live in Chandler, Casey Torres, Arizona's Family.
After all that, the charges get dropped. I must be blind, man. I must be seeing the wrong things or something when I'm reading this article. You know, I can't believe it. Like, you can have 1 or 2 scratched up pit bulls and all hell breaks loose on you and your family. And these folk with these rescues, you know, and these folk with these other dogs and these other breeds abusing these dogs by the hundreds. They're not abusing 1 or 2 dogs. They're abusing 50, 60, 70, 100, 300, 400. And they're getting slaps on the wrist. Slap on the ass. Go ahead on out there. You just can't have no dogs no more. Go ahead back to your regular life, your regular society. Just open you up a new rescue and a different name now. You know, it's like the charges and the crimes don't add up to the punishment. I have to keep using the dope game references wise because a lot of brothers don't understand. A lot of y'all younger brothers that's in this game, you don't understand how the crack laws was back in the 90s. You get caught with a piece of crack the size of your fingernail, your ass going for 15 years. You see, you don't understand what the laws was back then. So I have to keep explaining stuff to you. You know what I'm saying? You get caught with something the size of your fingernail, you gone 15 years, 10 years, 15, maybe more than that. Only up to date times, they loosen up the laws. But I always tell you they loosen up one law because they see that they got you in another one. The black man loves the pit bull. It just, they can say we love so many things. They can put the stereotype on us, say we love watermelon, we love chicken, we love this, and we love. The black man loves pit bulls. You know what I'm saying? Now, with the crack law being not as strong as it was back then, we loosen up on that, but we tighten up on this. You know what I'm saying? We tighten up on this. And it's doing the same exact thing that the crack was doing. So they don't lock up. They went from locking up. I'm just going to use a fake number, you know what I'm saying, just so we can hear numbers. Say they were locking up 1,000 people a year for crack back in the 90s. Now, since they made the laws more lenient, say they locking up only 700 people a year, okay? But yet, when they made the dog laws more stiffer, them 300 that they missing from that 1,000, they getting over that in the dogs. They getting a whole another 700 they locking up a year just over the dogs. So that'll add up to 1,400. We was only getting 1,000 just strictly off strict crack charges. Just strictly off the strict crack laws. We was only getting 1,000 a year. Okay, now when we loosen up the crack charges, loosen up the laws, make these dog laws more stiffer, now we getting 1,400 a year. You tell me, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. When it comes to these pits, it's a different ball game when it comes to other breeds and other folk when it comes to these dogs. You know what I'm saying? And salute to all my brothers out there, man, from one side of the country to the other side of the country. You know what I'm saying? From one side of the world to the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? Big salute to Sister Mary, rocking from the other side of the world. When you see this video, it may be morning time over there where you at. You know what I'm saying? But big shout out to you. Big shout out to all the people, man, all the dog lovers from one side of the world to the other side of the world. Like I always say, man. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the new channel, Pelican Bay Kennels TV. But I really appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight, man. PB K9's giving it to you the way I always do. Fair and unbiased. Some gonna like it. Some ain't, man. Some gonna like it, some ain't. Y'all hit that like button before y'all get up out of here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, you know what I'm saying? Drop down in them comments. Salute to all the brothers that rocking with me, the sisters that rock with me tonight in that chat. PBK9s, I'm out.